Right now, 3 players left in the quest for $25,000 and a shot at 50 grand. It is Graydon out in front, Morris and Bosamworth trying to stay alive at just over 40,000 each. So it's been Wally's World all night with Morris and Bosamworth looking to their leader and trying to play catch-up. Blinds now up to 2,000 and 4,000. John Kelly alongside Michael Koenig and Leanne Tweeden interviewing our players and doing tonight's check presentation. To the flop, two-handed, 9-4-7.
Yet again, Graydon gets a piece of it.
He has been blessed tonight.
Morris has a straight draw, but it's very speculative. I don't expect her to call here.
Fold.
She will not. So Graydon's pair of 4s, good enough to slightly increase his chip lead. We're not at the point yet, Michael, where the blinds are that significant. What do you expect these two guys that are short stacked, what they're going to probably be doing?
I actually do consider it fairly significant for somebody with 44,000 in chips like Morris to have to put in 10% of her stack in the big blind. And in fact, every orbit is going to cost these players 6,000. Bosamworth, big hand.
No, take it, Gavin.
And wins the blinds. 6,000 every time they go around the table. Well, that represents, in the case of Bosamworth, 1/9 of his stack, and for Morris, about 1/8 of hers. So they really can't afford to sit around very much. And even more important, John Kelly, one of them has to step out and make a stand and say, I don't care if I finish 3rd or 2nd, I'm going for 1st.
Got to have your eye on the prize, and right now that prize sits in front of Wally Graydon.
6,000 more.
48-year-old player out of Georgia.
He bumps it up with the mighty 5 deuce.
Cool.
The kind of luck Graydon's been having, he's probably thinking, I'll get a piece of this at least. So two-handed to the flop, Jack, Jack, 4.
If Bosamworth checks here, I expect Graydon to take it away with a bluff on the flop.
Check.
There's your check. See what Graydon's got.
Check.
He also plays it slow. Both players showing weakness, a 9 on the turn. Quick check from Bosamworth.
2 checks normally means I invite you to take this pot away from me.
The invitation declined to the river of 5.
And Graydon has the best hand on the river.
Again.
Check.
Simply show it down. Graydon's 5-2. You pointed out, Michael, the monster starting hand, and it does take it away. Well, so far, we haven't seen a lot of moves from Valerie Morris or Gary Bosamworth. So it'll be interesting to see how Graydon decides to play this out. I mean, well in front, but at the same time, this is where you don't slow it down. You actually want to pick it up, right?
Well, if you are Valerie Morris, you are praying Graydon gets a little bit out of line here.
Raise.
Raise announced.
Pot.
Raising pot, 12,000, 8,000 more.
So the question now is, will Wally Graydon take a dive into this pot and join Gucci Woman? He says no thanks, just under the gun as the clock winds down. So Valerie Morris out of the UK picks this one up. Still hanging around just over 40,000 in chips.
And the problem for both Morris and Bosamworth is they have been so inactive pre-flop that anytime they do raise now, well, Wally Graydon can pretty safely assume that they have a good hand.
Pretty much telegraphing to the entire table that I've got some juice here.
Both players have good hands here. Morris has raised.
Winding. Indecision. If the clock forces him to make a quick one, he wanted to maybe call. The clock was squeezing down. He finally released the cards, and another hand to cash in for Valerie Morris.
JK, we should note that 3-handed, the blinds They're 2 and 4. The button right there, Mallory Morris gets to act first before the flop, gets a shot at stealing the blinds, at raising it up, and if the button is called, that button player enjoys position throughout the rest of the hand. Very powerful three-handed.
So the button, a beautiful place to be. You're down to 3. Graydon taking a stab with his 9-5. 2-way to the flop. 8, 6, 8. Bosworth may not know it, but the ace still in front.
And John, it just seems to me like Gary Bosworth is just paralyzed at this point. He just can't make himself put chips in the pot unless he's made a real big connection.
He needs to come out firing. Jack on the turn.
Check.
Wow. Graydon may sniff his weakness and decide to step it up a little bit. 5 seconds to act.
Check.
He also checks it. The river's an 8. Both players miss. We'll see who fires.
$10,000.
Should be good enough to cash it in. Five seconds to act.
Fold.
Wally Graydon folds. Gary Bosworth picks up another pot. Well, it is Bosworth and Morris trying to swim upstream, staying alive against our chip leader. That's Wally Graydon at the MansionPoker.com Poker Dome Challenge.